I'm Rhett DeMille, founder of PalmettoSoft, a digital marketing firm that's been in business for over 20 years. We work with businesses that want real results, not marketing theory. And in that time, I've seen exactly how Google's algorithm has shifted and what it really rewards today. Google tells you to create helpful content. That's the message. Clean, simple, and safe. But here's the part they don't say. They only tell you what they want you to know. On the surface, it's a battle between white hat and black hat SEO. But underneath, it's not about hats at all. It's about how deep you're willing to go beyond the blog post and documentation into how the system actually thinks. Understanding Google's algorithm is heading out into the wilderness, no guidebook, no trail markers, just patterns, data, and the boldness to follow signals the public never sees. It's not for everyone, but if you go there, the payoff is massive.
Let's start off with the part Google does tell you. They highlight things like core web vitals, speed, mobile usability, technical stability. They talk about the helpful content system, which rewards content that's people first, as long as it reads naturally and adds value. Then there's EEAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust. It sounds like a clean, objective framework, but it isn't. That's because the EEAT isn't built on a fixed score or standardized checklist. It's inferred through indirect signals like who you are, how long you've been publishing, what kind of sites link to you, and whether you show up across trusted topic clusters. You could have two articles that say the exact same thing, but if one is written by a verified expert with a healthy backlink profile, and the other by a ghostwriter with no digital footprint, Google will rank them very differently. This is where SEO polish fails. That's when a page looks optimized on the surface, headings, keywords, structure, but it lacks the depth, proof, or author signals that the algorithm now expects. Google has seen millions of thin, over-optimized pages that technically follow the rules, and they've trained their systems to spot them. And here's where it all comes together. Because authoritativeness and trust are shaped by the quality of inbound links pointing to your site. Google doesn't just read your content, it looks at who vouches for it and how strong those connections are. This is where a lot of SEOs still get it wrong. They treat on-page content and off-page authority like separate checklists, but in reality, Google sees them as one system, a network of signals that either reinforce each other or fall apart. Most of those signals are invisible to you, but extremely visible to the algorithm, and they help decide whether your content even stands a chance. Now here's where things split between what Google says and what Google does. There are ranking signals that Google rarely mentions, but they show up in linked internal documentation, patents, and how search results behave in the real world. Some of this information comes from what are called APIs, Application Programming Interfaces. These are tools that let Google's internal systems talk to each other. When engineers design these APIs, they include names for the variables being tracked, and those names give us a window into what the algorithm is actually watching. This isn't a theory. It's what shows up when someone reverse engineers how Google scores trust, authority, and ranking potential, even when the public-facing advice states otherwise. Let's look at three signals that have shown up repeatedly across real-world testing, documentation, and leaked internal tools. 1. Domain authority. Google says it doesn't use Moz's metric, and it doesn't. But internally, Google absolutely tracks domain-level trust. How long the site has existed, how its link profile has grown, and whether its past behavior has matched what users actually want. If your domain has earned trust over time, your content starts with momentum. If not, it has to fight uphill for every keyword. Number 2, user behavior. This is what happens after someone lands on your page. Does the user click and stay? Do they scroll? Do they return to the search results and choose something else? Google's watching. They're not just analyzing your content, they're analyzing how real people interact with it. If users bounce, that's a signal. If they engage in return, that's a much stronger one. Number 3, semantic clustering. Google no longer ranks based on exact match keywords. That's over with. It ranks based on semantic meaning, how well your content fits into a network of related topics. If you're writing about SEO pricing, but you've never published anything else in the SEO category, Google may treat that as shallow coverage. But if your content sits inside a well-developed topic cluster, it benefits from shared trust and relevance. Up to this point, we've talked about EEAT, backlinks, user behavior, and semantic structure. But here's the part most marketers still overlook. Google doesn't rank pages, it ranks patterns. When you publish a page, Google doesn't just evaluate what's on it, it checks how the page fits into a broader system. Is this content connected to related topics? Is it supported by trusted, relevant links? Have users shown interest in similar pages on your site? Has this domain demonstrated consistency and credibility over time? These signals aren't separate, they interact, and the strength of one signal is often meaningless without the others reinforcing it. That's why so many good pages still fail. They look optimized, but they don't belong to a network of trust. They're isolated or opportunistic. Google sees the difference and penalizes it quietly by pushing that content down the page. On the other hand, even the simple page, if it lives inside a trusted domain with strong internal structure and topical alignment, can outrank better written content. This is the part most strategies get wrong. They optimize in pieces, but Google ranks wholes, WHOLES, connected, consistent systems of trust. So what do you do with all this? You stop thinking like a content creator and start thinking like the system evaluating your content. Google isn't reading your pages the way a human would. It's running thousands of comparisons per second across sites, links, content depth, historical trust, and behavior patterns. It's asking, does this content match known authority on this topic? Is the author or domain historically reliable? Are users acting like this page has helped them, or are they bouncing? You need to train yourself to ask those same questions before you hit publish. And here's where AI changes the game. Most people use AI to write faster, but the real power is using it to simulate how a machine would judge your content. You can prompt AI to evaluate your draft like a Google quality rater. Is this content unique or derivative? Does it demonstrate firsthand experience? Would someone trust this, or does it sound like it was stitched together for SEO? That's not copywriting. That's systems thinking. And it's exactly what gives you an edge in a ranking environment that's moving faster, getting smarter, and rewarding depth over duplication. So here's what we've covered. Google doesn't rank content. It ranks systems of trust. Pages only succeed when they're part of a larger pattern of consistency, authority, and behavioral confirmation. Think of an ecosystem. And if you want to win, you can't just follow guidelines. You need to think like the algorithm, or better yet, use AI to simulate the algorithm's thinking before you publish. In the next video, I'll break down 5 ranking signals Google doesn't talk about publicly, but that shows up over and over again in leaks, behavior patterns, and competitive search engine result pages. And if you found this helpful, please consider subscribing and leave a comment if there's a specific strategy or ranking signal you want us to dig into next. We always want to give you something you won't find anywhere else. It's our gift in exchange for your time. See you soon.